said, first time in 3 weeks, you're talking about that, but we are expecting them to drop this weekend. Of course, weather is the first thing that we got to talk about at 4 o'clock. Meteorologist Mike Strell has our first check of the forecast. It just doesn't feel real, especially after the first few weeks of everything.
It has been a very potent January, to say the least. The good news is, look at this. This is the 14-day outlook, and it has red splashed all over the map, and more importantly, right here in Chicago. Look at these high temperatures next week. We're talking about temperatures in the 40s Monday and Tuesday, mid and upper 30s, and even 40s as we round out the rest of the week. But there is some cold air to get through. First of all, tonight, we're down to about 10 degrees, and tomorrow remains below normal. We'll talk more about that. Your full forecast coming up.
Breaking news at this hour, Metro service has been stopped near Mount Prospect after a pedestrian was hit by a train. The pedestrian's condition is unknown at this time. Metro issued an alert regarding the incident and said extensive delays are expected on the Union Pacific Northwest line.
Auburn Gresham leaders are coming together to remember a young mother who was shot and killed on the city's south side.
The shooting unfolded in broad daylight on Wednesday, and the victim's daughter was in the back seat.
Yeah, hard to believe. Casey Cronus is live downtown with the very latest. Hey, Casey.
Hey guys, that's right. Her baby girl miraculously survived despite dozens of shots being fired. Now faith leaders and city officials are pleading with the public to speak up if you know who did this. Cook County Crime Stoppers has identified the victim as 26-year-old Gabrielle Ayers. She was shot multiple times near 79th and May this week before crashing into another car. The man who was with her was injured in the shooting, but her 14-month-old daughter was unharmed. This afternoon, a vigil was held at the very same intersection alongside a Chicago Police Department roll call. Mayor Brandon Johnson was in attendance along with local and state leaders who are calling for the violence to stop. No one is in custody, and as Father Michael Flager said, now another child will grow up without their mom. He is posting a $10,000 reward. That's on top of another $10,000 reward Crime Stoppers is posting for bringing the people responsible to justice.
Talk about it like that mother is your sister or your mother. Think about that baby who's going to grow up with no mother. That ought to prick your conscience to do something. And if it doesn't, then you're a frightening, scary human being, should be locked up.
This is real life, and enough is enough. And I'm going to tell people like it is. I'm calling these monsters what they are. They are monsters, because what else are they? Are they good community members? Absolutely not. And we're going to find you, and we're going to make sure that we hold you accountable.
If you have any information about this case, you are asked to report it right away. You can remain anonymous, and you'll see the Crime Stoppers phone number on your screen. Reporting live downtown, Casey Cronus, Fox Chicago.
I hope somebody comes forward. Casey, thank you for that. The woman who was lit on fire on the CTA Blue Line is now out of the hospital. We're talking about Bethany McGee, who released a statement thanking the medical staff who work in the burn unit of Stroger Hospital. She said, in part, yesterday marked an important step in my recovery. My family and I are grateful to be able to celebrate this milestone, and we want to sincerely thank everyone who has offered support, kindness, and encouragement during this time. So while she recovers and is asking everyone for privacy, the man accused of lighting her on fire is in jail, where he is waiting to go on trial. We're talking about Lawrence Reed, who is facing federal terrorism charges. So if he's convicted, he could spend the rest of his life in prison.
A judge ordered the release of evidence in the Marimar Martinez shooting. She was shot 5 times by immigration enforcement agents during an encounter on October 4th in Brighton Park. Evidence includes body camera footage and text messages from the agent who shot her. The judge said Martinez has the right to counterbalance the label of, quote, domestic terrorist put upon her by the Department of Homeland Security.
We're very happy that the judge saw it the way that we see it, that the government can't have it both ways. You can't call a U.S. citizen with no criminal history who's a Montessori school teacher a domestic terrorist, which is such a loaded word in this country. It's sick that these are federal agents. Like, this guy's a federal agent who is sworn to protect all of us, and like that's what's going through his mind after he shoots a woman multiple times on Kedzie on a Saturday morning. I mean, that's alarming, and it should be alarming.
Later this month, Martinez is scheduled to attend President Trump's State of the Union to Congress as a guest of Representative Jesus Chuy Garcia.
Well, the Department of Homeland Security is set to run out of money next week. And today, Senator Dick Durbin stood with immigration rights organizations demanding reforms to DHS before he agrees to allocate any more money to the agency. So just to keep this in mind, DHS is in charge of ICE and Border Patrol. Senator Durbin said it is all about preventing violent confrontations like what we've seen here in Chicago and Minneapolis.
What we are trying to do is to sit down with the Republicans and say, agree on the basics. Hold ICE to the same standards as every professional police department in America, and do it now.
A DHS shutdown would only impact ICE and Border Patrol, or it not only would impact ICE and Border Patrol, but it would also affect TSA and FEMA.
Students at Plainfield Central High School organized a walkout today in protest of ICE operations. Student walkouts have become more common in the wake of the deadly violence from federal agents in Minneapolis. In a letter to parents, Plainfield School District 202 said this demonstration was not a school-sanctioned event and that participants risked facing consequences for being late or absent from their regular classes.
Well, so many people are talking about this on social media. The search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie continues as the FBI is now offering a $50,000 reward. And apparently they're reviewing some ransom notes.
Yeah, and at least one deadline already passed. Sarah Allegre is live in Tucson, Arizona. And Sarah, what are investigators focused on right now?
Well, I think we have to think about timing here. It is incredibly critical at this point. The FBI says they're looking very closely into the ransom notes sent to media outlets earlier this week, trying to confirm, hey, is this legitimate? That deadline for yesterday, 5 p.m., that came and went. But now we're looking at another deadline set for Monday. They say they're taking this very seriously. According to the feds, it demanded a large cryptocurrency payment by 5 local time yesterday. But it didn't include a way for them or the family to respond. Now, as that deadline hit, Nancy's son, Cameron Guthrie, posted a new video appeal asking whoever may have his mother to make contact and prove she's alive.
We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
Meanwhile, the FBI also confirmed they arrested a California man for sending fake ransom texts directly to Nancy's children. Authorities stress there's no direct link, though, between those texts and the letter sent to news outlets. Investigators also continuing to focus on that timeline surrounding Nancy's disappearance. The sheriff says she was dropped off at her home Saturday night just before 10 after dinner with family. Early Sunday at 1:47 a.m., a doorbell camera disconnected. At 2:12, software detected movement, but no video was recorded. Sheriff Chris Nano says there's no way to recover it because there's no subscription for the camera. But when asked if the cam that detected movement was the same as the one that was disconnected, the sheriff said this.
We don't know which camera that was. When we did the software, it just told us that a person was detected, but I'm unaware of which camera that was.
There were multiple cameras and you're not sure?
Sure. There were multiple cameras at the home.
And you guys, I just got this alert on my phone moments ago from the Pima County Sheriff's Department. I'm going to look at it so I get this information correctly. They say the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department are aware of a new message regarding Nancy Guthrie. Investigators are actively inspecting the information provided and the message for its authenticity. So this, of course, is new information just coming out. We're going to continue to dig into this, see what this means as we continue to bring you this a story over the course of the next few hours. Guys, back to you.
And one part of the investigation into the disappearance of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother focuses on her pacemaker. The question is whether a pacemaker can help track people during investigations. Shaul Turner has more from doctors.
Well, this is all technology that's evolving.
More than 3 million people in the U.S. wear implanted devices that regulate their heartbeat, called pacemakers. Dr. Charles Frenzalita of the Health One system tells Fox 31 new technology allows some pacemakers to transmit important information to medical staff via Apple Watches and iPhones.
That information is transmitted from the device into this transmitter that goes by the internet and comes back to the office of the physician. Now, this is not done on a daily basis in most cases. It's done on, let's say, a weekly basis.
But there's one thing the system can't do.
The device is really not set up to be able to track people around the geography.
That's because pacemakers do not have GPS chips or location services. However, knowing if and when a pacemaker has been disconnected can provide useful information to investigators.
The plan to try to lure the Chicago Bears to Indiana is picking up some steam. Indiana House Speaker Todd Houston is now sponsoring a bill that creates the Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority. This is Senate Bill 27, so here's how it works. The Stadium Authority would own the stadium and would have the power to issue bonds and buy land. However, it requires the Chicago Bears to commit to a 35-year lease. So this bill was already passed the Senate, and Indiana Governor Mike Braun said he will sign the bill if it goes to his desk.
All right, still ahead, a team of doctors are ready to tackle the Super Bowl.
So we have an inside look at what happens if a player just happens to get injured on Sunday.
And a number of players on the field have roots right here in Illinois.
And get ready for the Illinois primary election, and we're going to show you when you're going to be able to vote.
Plus, President Trump is walking back a controversial video he posted of the Obamas. We've got all the drama right after the break.
Fox 30.
It's a new era for the New York Archdiocese with a Chicago area connection. The Catholic Church installed Archbishop Ronald Hicks as the new head of the New York Archdiocese. So you may remember Hicks was the head of the diocese in Joliet, who grew up in South Holland. He spent 20 years as a missionary in Peru. Pope Leo chose Hicks in December to replace Cardinal Timothy Dolan, who just retired. All right, we are about 1 month away from the Illinois Democratic primary, and there's one big race that we're watching. That is the soon-to-be open U.S. Senate seat.
Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton is gaining major support from the state's Latino community. Today, Congressman Chuy Garcia and other prominent Latino leaders joined Stratton to launch the Latinos con Juliana Coalition. The coalition is hoping to build grassroots support for Stratton across the state. Stratton is one of 10 Democrats hoping to fill Dick Durbin's seat after he announced last year that he wasn't running for re-election. Stratton says the Latino community will be crucial for her to get to Washington.
This is a group that has already hit the ground running to spread our message and mobilize voters. And I know that this team is going to lead us to victory in March.
The primary for both Democrats and Republicans is on March 17th.
And early voting started in some Illinois counties. Downtown Chicago early voting sites will open Thursday, February 12th. So it will expand to all 50 wards March 2nd. So you could still cast your ballot at any of the early voting sites, no matter where you live. And you could also request a mail-in ballot, but you got to keep this in mind. Postmark changes with the U.S. Postal Service means you have to walk your ballot to the counter for day of postmarkings. So you could also use a secure mail-in drop box, so that's going to be at all the polling sites.
The White House is not ruling out the possibility of ICE agents at polling places during the November midterm elections. The idea was floated earlier this week by Steve Bannon. The former White House strategist suggested on his podcast that ICE, quote, surround the polls come November. The White House press secretary was asked about it today.
I can't guarantee that an ICE agent won't be around a polling location in November. I mean, that's frankly a very silly hypothetical question. But what I can tell you is I haven't heard the president discuss any formal plans to put ICE outside of polling locations. It's a disingenuous question.
Bannon's comments come after President Trump's comments of nationalizing future elections to ensure federal oversight, and 1 week after the FBI seized ballots from the 2020 election in Fulton County, Georgia.
You may have seen this on social media today. President Donald Trump shared an AI video depicting the Obamas as apes. So we chose not to show you that video. So this video was on Truth Social. So it starts with a clip on alleged voting machines irregularities. And at the end, there's a racist cartoon of the Obamas. So the video eventually got deleted from the president's account. Now, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt released a statement saying the clip was part of an internet meme depicting President Trump as the king of the jungle and Democrats as characters from The Lion King. But the White House is now blaming a White House staffer. However, in a statement, the NAACP president, Derek Johnson, wrote, Donald Trump's video is blatantly racist, disgusting, and utterly despicable. And Johnson goes on to point to the president's wider political concerns, asserting that the president is trying to distract the public from economic conditions and, of course, attention on the Jeffrey Epstein files.
All right, I think we definitely deserve this warm weather ahead. It looks cold outside, but good news coming soon. Mark?
I'm coming soon right now, right?
But it was a little gusty today, especially if you were just along the river today.
Yeah.
At least that was my experience today, but it's all a glimmer of hope, I think.
You're absolutely right. And it's going to be breezy overnight tonight, and tomorrow's going to be a little bit of a blustery day as well. We've got another cool one tomorrow, temperatures of 23. We're still right around normal, 32 degrees on Sunday, and then look what happens after that. Monday and Tuesday, we're back into the 40s. We're above average the rest of the week, and then into the 40s again next weekend. And this is the part I didn't show you before. Temperatures into the 50s at the end of the 7 to 10 day forecast. Yeah, it's breezy downtown. It looks gray. It's still winter-like outside, especially with those cool winds blowing in, and especially with those cool temperatures tonight. We're all the way down into the single digits, especially north and northwest of the city. And as I mentioned, tomorrow, those temperatures about 8 to 10 degrees below average. But we're not dealing with much of any snowfall around here. Maybe a flake or two coming down the lake and a couple of isolated blips, but 99% of us are not going to have to deal with that tonight. Overnight tonight, temperatures down in the single digits. Right now, though, it feels comparatively pretty mild. 38 degrees at both of the airports. We're doing 40 at Joliet. Look at LaSalle, Peru. 43 this hour, and even Woodstock at 37 degrees. Give you a chance to kind of melt down some of those ugly snow piles that are in the corner of the grocery store. parking lot. Winds gusting now nearly 30 miles per hour at Aurora. We've got wind gust up over 25 miles per hour right now at O'Hare. So yeah, blustery conditions. Those windy conditions are going to continue. So in spite of the fact we've got 30s and 40s for actual air temperatures, wind chills in some cases put us back down into the 20s. So yeah, we're not quite feeling balmy yet, but we're taking another step in that direction.
I like balmy.
Yeah, balmy's a good thing, isn't it?
Especially if you want to go eventually, just have have the roof open in your car, right?
I'm ready.
We're all ready for this. And that being said,
We deserve it.
we all deserve this. The Chicago Auto Show opens tomorrow, but here's the thing. We're on the floor tonight, and we have a sneak peek for you in just a few minutes.
And are you seeing more coyotes in Chicago? Well, they're out and about and even downtown. Experts explain why and the dangers that come along with them.
Of course, we were talking about this winter weather and how long it's going to be, but could this winter push the country's electric grid to the limit? We have a new report that's out about the risk of future blackouts.
The big game is Sunday, and if you're rooting for New England or Seattle, Madden may have boosted your pick or killed it. I'm Eamon Dignam in New York, and I have multiple predictions coming up.
All right, three old friends will be keeping up with tradition on Super Bowl Sunday. The trio have been to every single Super Bowl game in person. In fact, they call themselves the Never Missed a Super Bowl Club. That's pretty cool. The men are all in their 80s. For years, the NFL has made face value tickets available to the trio and provided media credentials to their photographers.
That's really good to know because going to the Super Bowl is very, very expensive if you don't have the hookup like those guys right there. But, you know, there can only be one winner. This Sunday, it's the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots for Super Bowl 60.
And when players take the field Sunday, they'll have their own teams of doctors, trainers, and the latest tech to keep them safe.
So Amalia Roy is live at Levi Stadium and take us behind the scenes. Hey, Amalia.
Hey, good evening, Brent, Leslie. I got a little bit of a peek behind the scenes. The chief medical officer showed us around the facilities. We got to go upstairs where the spotters will sit. They'll be looking down at the field during game time, watching these plays in real time, and they're looking for any injuries that aren't getting noticed on the field. The spotters alert the medical staff on the ground, who can then watch everything back and make a decision.
Anytime a player is getting a concussion evaluation, the team doctor and that unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant will need to review the video before they make their final determination.
Concussions are one of the most common injuries in football. Last season, the NFL recorded 155 in-game concussions. That is down from 184 the year before. To keep lowering the number, the organization's looking at player data to see where they can make the game safer. The NFL's AI-powered digital athlete uses that information to run simulations on potential changes.
We recently used the digital athlete to inform the dynamic kickoff rules change. We were able to take data from video and from computer vision, as well as injury data from the EMR and player tracking data, to simulate 10,000 seasons of how players participate and look at different ways that we could change the kickoff, which was historically our highest, had our highest concussion rate of any play in the game.
The chief medical officer also says the issues with the big game is that you're having two teams that might not be from the area, and so they have to add just the fact that both teams are going to be outside of their usual elements. It means needing to make sure that everything's rehearsed, that all of the doctors, trainers, any specialists, hospitals are all ready with what can happen if in the worst case scenarios, and practicing them until they know exactly what to do. In Santa Clara, California, Amalia Roy, Fox Chicago.
It's really come a long way, and that certainly can make all the difference.
A lot that goes into it.
Especially what happened, especially when you look at what happened in Cincinnati with Damar Hamlin years ago. Those medical crews saved his life here. But, of course, you know, this is going to be a fun weekend here. And if we didn't just need any more anticipation for the halftime show, this halftime show on Sunday is going to be historic for a few reasons.
Yeah, and for the first time, a headliner will give a performance almost exclusively in Spanish. And for the first time, the performance will be interpreted in Puerto Rican Sign Language. We'll hear from Bad Bunny's official interpreter just ahead.
Is artificial intelligence coming for your job or giving you new coworkers? It depends on who you ask. I'm Caroline Shively in Washington. I'll have that story coming up.
It's starting the day with hope. Knowing you're in the right place. Having access to advanced treatments and the most experienced cancer experts. When you're facing cancer, it's not just one thing that makes the difference. It's everything. The big, the small, the unexpected that helps you keep moving forward. Advocate Healthcare. Cancer care that makes the difference.
Ashley's President's Day sale is
All right, jump-starting the bottom of the hour, the 118th Chicago Auto Show is revving its engines. We've got a preview of what you can expect.
And the winter is pushing the country's electric grid to the limit, and we have a new report that's predicting more blackouts for the next few years.
All right, but first, have you noticed more coyotes out and about in Chicago? Well, they've been spotted all over the city.
So that includes Montrose Beach. I haven't seen them.
I'm concerned.
I've seen them in the North Shore quite a few times as well. So you got to see this video from earlier this week. You could see just one coyote eyeing some off-leash dogs running around Montrose Beach. So the guy who took this video says this happened on Wednesday in this protected area of the beach where dogs aren't even allowed. So over the past few weeks, we have been seeing coyotes around Grant Park, Humboldt Park, and along the lakefront. And there's been a reason, apparently, why they're so active. They're looking for love. It's peak breeding season. So we spoke with an expert on Chicago Live who told us only the alpha pair in a pack breeds. And here's another fact here. Coyotes are extremely monogamous.
They don't cheat. They do not cheat, which is another reason why they tend to be either defensive or aggressive, depending on your perspective, toward dogs during this time of year, because they're bonded with their mate and they aren't going to tolerate any competitors for that. And sometimes they'll see a dog as a potential competitor for their mate, which is one reason why they're defensive or aggressive, depending on your perspective. So the monogamy was a complete surprise to us, but we've tested that genetically, tested for cheating. And unlike other species, pretty much throughout the natural world, coyotes don't cheat.
This is a lot more information about coyotes that I did not know about during this whole thing. But here's the biggest thing you just got to keep in mind, just to protect yourself in case you might be wondering if my safety's in jeopardy. Just don't feed them, especially if you got a small dog. Just really protect them. I know that's going to be a really important thing, especially for all the dog lovers out there.
Yeah, they're looking for love. It's almost Valentine's Day.
I'm just worried about the small dogs because I see a lot of dogs around just the lakefront and downtown, especially the small dogs that could be a target for coyotes.
Be careful. Don't feed them.
You do, yeah. You really got to be careful there. But I'm still, there's still a part of me when I see coyotes out there, even I would just be like, oh, hi, doggy. And I'd be like, oh, no, I can't. That's not a dog.
You're looking for the Roadrunner, aren't you?
Or that, too. I'm usually the one running away during that whole thing, Mark.
Yeah. Oh, they're cute little creatures. You know, and I got to tell you, there's a reason why they're here in the city and why we're not rounding them all up.
Why is that?
They keep the rat population low.
All right. So
we love that.
It's the circle of life.
Yeah, it's all the circle of life. Feel free to hum along. Here's what's going on right now. You go outside, you'll be hearing a humming in your ear from the breezes tonight. Winds gusting at times nearly 30 miles per hour. Overnight low temperatures down to about 10 tonight. So, yeah, it is going to be a cold night. And tomorrow we have some sunshine around, especially the early part of the day. But it's going to be a chilly day tomorrow. The good news is one more chilly day, and then we're back to normal on Sunday with temperatures back up into the 30s. Yeah, today, first day above freezing in about 3 weeks. It's the middle of January. We have more sunshine coming up for the weekend, along with some warmer temperatures by Monday and Tuesday. In fact, we're back into the 40s early next week. I'll tell you more about that coming up.
All right, the Arctic freeze covering much of the U.S. is now entering its third week. So cold, it's causing iguanas to faint in Florida. Same, honestly, same. The zoo penguins and to head indoors in New York. Now there's a new human to worry whether the nation's already stressed electric grid can keep pace with Americans cranking up the heat. A new industry report finds that 10 of the country's 16 electric grids are at an elevated or high risk of energy shortfalls or blackouts over the next 3 years, especially in winter. Energy Secretary Chris Wright has issued multiple emergency orders in the last 2 weeks to allow regional grids to use maximum source output and ignore emission limits.
The lights would have gone out if not for emergency orders.
We are struggling now, cold, no hot water, no heat.
If there's one group actually benefiting from the extreme weather, East Coast ski resorts, with some reporting up to 3 feet of snow from the latest storm. Great for skiers, but still a challenge to keep the electric grid from crashing.
That is the Friday bell on Wall Street. The major averages surged and recovered after a bad week for the tech industry. But Wall Street is trying to reassure investors about the impact of AI disruption and hefty big tech spending. So the Dow not only hit a record high, but it reached the 50,000 milestone for the very first time.
All right, President Trump says the U.S. economy is doing great, but there are some signs that trouble could be ahead.
And one of the things that we're talking about here is about fewer jobs, and some feel AI is driving this. So Caroline Shively shows you another deciding factor.
A jumpy stock market opened Friday with questions on artificial intelligence and how it could change product demand.
AI is an exciting and new technology. And there's a great amount of learning to do here.
AI concerns also hitting the labor market. Federal data released Thursday shows job openings dropped in December to the lowest level since 2020. Many companies are still figuring out how to integrate AI into their companies. Industry leaders in the White House have different views.
Will it eliminate jobs? Yes. Will it change jobs? Yes. Will it add some jobs? Probably. It is what it is.
It'll be the greatest jobs producer. It'll be the greatest military producer. It'll be the greatest medical producer.
Another indicator released Thursday, 231,000 more Americans filed for unemployment last week than the week before. That's still within the historically low range of the last few years, and possibly due in part to the winter storm leaving some temporarily unemployed. Another potential factor, the Trump tariffs.
Manufacturers shed workers in each of the 8 months after President Trump unveiled his tariffs.
The University of Michigan released its preliminary consumer sentiment index Friday morning, showing a slight increase from January to February, but still well below this time last year. Some Republicans are now asking why sentiment isn't more positive.
Consumer confidence is not really rebounding the way that the economy seems to be.
The next data to watch is the employment report out Wednesday, releasing 5 days late thanks to the 3-day government shutdown. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox Chicago.
Proviso East High School received a special recognition today. Illinois House Speaker Chris Welch and State Senator Kimberly Lightford presented Proviso East with a commendable designation. This is from the Illinois State Board of Education. So this is based on state test results from last year and highlights Proviso East for its ongoing efforts for academic achievement and student success.
These kids came in as freshmen. They came in not knowing what high school was like. There were a lot of myths and misnomers known about the community and school. And we came in and we really just worked and really to just change the output of Proviso East.
So this is the second year in a row Proviso East received the commendable designation. Congratulations to them. All right, coming up, a baseball legend is helping the city of Aurora kick off Black History Month.
Sesame Street's Elmo is frustrated with Taylor Swift. His message to the pop star, that's now trending.
And this weekend's Super Bowl halftime show will carry a new kind of power. We're going to show you how Bad Bunny's Interpreter is set to make history.
I'm Scott Schneider here at the 2026 Chicago Auto Show. And supercars like these, for most of us, we can only dream about them, right? But they're holding a special contest that's going to give one lucky winner a chance to walk this supercar gallery. I've got the details straight ahead.
Welcome.
Super Bowl Sunday is known as the biggest gambling day of the year.
The American Gaming Association says a record $1.76 billion is expected to be bet on the big game. Spread that over more than 1,000 possibilities, covering everything from the opening coin toss to the victory Gatorade shower. The Seattle Seahawks are the favorite to win by about 4.5 points. If you haven't placed your bets yet, you may want to turn to video games. Eamon Digman explains.
Seahawks, Patriots.
EA Sports Madden NFL 26 has its prediction for this year's Super Bowl between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks, a rematch from over a decade ago. The last sim accurately guessed that the Pats would pull it out 28-24.
The New England Patriots have won the Super Bowl.
This year, with Sam Darnold under center, Madden says the Seahawks will squeak by 23-20.
The Seattle Seahawks are Super Bowl champions.
Over the last 9 years, EA Sports has correctly guessed who would win the big game 4 times, giving them a win percentage of 44%. But in a 20-year span, that rises to a 65% win rate.
Mutant Football League 2.
In fantasy-style football, the Mutant Football League made its prediction in the Mayhem Bowl. Stand-ins for the Patriots, the nuked London Patriots, to win against the Micro-Hard Mutilators, 40-37. The name Micro-Hard, a parody of the famous Microsoft headquarters in Washington.
And he's first into the end zone for the score.
Mutant Football League creative director Michael Mentheim claims his 2 games have a better prediction rate than Madden, with 5 games predicted correctly since they started with the MFL 1 9 years ago. The Fox on Games prediction on Madden 25 has New England winning another tight game, 14-7, with Pats QB Drake May as the MVP. In New York, Eamon Dignan, Fox, Chicago.
5 Illinois high school graduates are playing in the Super Bowl. From the Seattle Seahawks, safety Julian Love graduated from Nazareth Academy. Defensive end Riley Mills went to Lake Forest High School, and tight end Eric Saubert went to Hoffman Estates High School. And from the New England Patriots, offensive tackle Verdarian Lowe went to Auburn High School, and linebacker Robert Spillane went to Fenwick High School. You know, a lot of people are talking about this one, though. Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show marks the first time a Spanish-speaking entertainer is going to make it headline.
Yeah, it's also the first time the show will be interpreted for deaf viewers using Puerto Rican Sign Language. Selimar Rivera Cosme is a huge Bad Bunny fan. In 2022, she posted a video on Instagram asking that he add a sign language interpreter to his team. A week later, she was on tour with him. And now 4 years later, she is ready to make history with the Puerto Rican star on the national stage. Rivera Cosme will sing Bad Bunny's lyrics in Puerto Rican Sign Language, or LSPR. This is different from American Sign Language, so her halftime performance marks an important shift for deaf representation.
We haven't said anything, we have let another person who is not Puerto Rican, or maybe Puerto Rican, but not very versed in that culture, or maybe doing it in ASL. They will be missing part of what Bad Bunny is presenting, the culture and the Puerto Rican energy and all the vibes that will have been missing from the interpretation. And we want equal experience for the deaf community.
We need flow, we need attitude, we need to show more at the performances of how music is connected with the audience, and so they can enjoy the music with the performance.
Historically, concerts have featured hearing interpreters, but many deaf audiences prefer deaf interpreters who are more fluent in their language and culture.
The city of Aurora is honoring baseball legend Dennis Biddle, and you have an opportunity to meet him in about an hour and 15 minutes. So this is all part of Black History Month. So Biddle joined the Chicago American Giants at just 17 years old and later spent years traveling the country, educating people about Negro League history. So this event starts tonight at 6 o'clock. So you're invited to meet Biddle and learn more about the legacy of the Negro Leagues. The 118th Chicago Auto Show starts tomorrow.
And Scott Schneider loves cars and snuck over today for a sneak peek.
Okay, so the 2026 Chicago Auto Show here at McCormick Place is chock full of the usual players, Chevy, Ford, Toyota. But there's also a little nook that they've carved out that they're calling the Supercar Gallery. And joining me here to talk about what is here is Jim O'Brill. He is the Senior Director of Marketing and Strategy. And Jim, I want to thank you for talking to us about what is the creme de la creme, including this absolutely gorgeous Lamborghini. Tell us what we're looking at right here.
Yeah, right here is the Lamborghini Revuelto. This is the 1,000 horsepower, just a little bit of power here in this vehicle. This one goes for about $775,000, so just a few dollars there. But this is a gorgeous vehicle, this flat black or flat white paint. One of many cars here in the Drive Chicago Supercar Gallery at the auto show.
Absolutely gorgeous. I would imagine you're going to see a lot of foot traffic. Now, this area is cordoned off, but there's a contest we're going to get to in just a sec. Let's talk about some of the other vehicles, and as we walk in here, into the showroom, if you will. Talk to me about some of the badges, and these are some of the most well-known and expensive badges that there are in the world.
Yeah, we've got everything organized. You've got everything from Aston Martin in this front row here, all the way down from their SUV models we're looking at, all the way to the Vanquish convertible down there. You've got a few Maseratis. We've got a nice Lotus on the end over here in that bright green. I love that not many cars can pull off colors, but only these supercars can. Lotus has this green one. Bentley's here on the other side of Supercar Gallery, so everything from convertibles to SUVs, and then of course Rolls-Royce is always a hot supercar, or luxury supercar, if you will. So you've got the Rolls-Royce Cullinan to the Spectre, and again, when we talk about colors, you've got to look at the inside of this white Spectre here.
Let's walk over here, because this is absolutely a gorgeous car. I can only imagine the sticker price on something like this.
Yeah, but and check out the color on the side and the details in this vehicle. Can you imagine this in the interior of your Chevy?
Jim, can I put my hand inside? Oh, it's so supple.
You can give it a try.
It's just so supple. It's absolutely gorgeous. Oh, and look at the door. Almost like a suicide door. Beautiful.
I mean, the details in vehicles like this.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Unmatched refinement in here.
Absolutely gorgeous. And talk to me, if you would, about the fact that, you know, we're accustomed to the everyday car brands that we see on the road, whether it be tooling around Chicago or in the suburbs. But a show like this, it is important for the more esteemed brands to show everybody what they're working on as well.
It is, absolutely. Like, we have our First Look for Charity event going on tonight, which is a great gallery, and there's a lot of other things going on at the show, so showcasing vehicles like this is still important. There are buyers for vehicles like this, just as there are buyers for your Toyota Corollas and Chevy Blazers.
Let's talk about the contest, because again, we're behind glass, but there is an opportunity for people who come down here to have access to these gorgeous cars.
Yes.
Tell the folks at home about that.
Certainly these are expensive, so we keep them behind glass, but we run a contest every year. If you post on social, post some of your favorite supercars, use the hashtag Supercar Sweeps. We are randomly selecting winners throughout the show. We will text you or reach out to you via social media and come grab you, and we will take you behind the glass for kind of a little guided tour in the supercar gallery.
Sounds very posh. It sounds very exciting. And also, this year's show runs
through February 17th, President's Day. Starts 10 a.m. every day. So all the way through President's Day, that last Monday is our final day of the show from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Next hour, we're going to take you to a new area here at McCormick. They're calling it Chi-Town Alley. I can't wait to show it to you. Chicago car culture on display. Jim O'Brill, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Back to you.
All right, well, she's back. Taylor Swift dropping a brand new music video this morning. Take a look. It's for the song Opalite off of her latest album, The Life of a Showgirl. The quirky storyline includes Swift's relationship with her giant pet rock, and that triggered a certain red puppet. Elmo, if you didn't know, has a major rivalry on Sesame Street with his friend Zoe Pett's Rocco. The Rock representation in Swift's new video felt personal, with Elmo tweeting, quote, "Miss Taylor Swift, you have got to be kidding Elmo."
Any publicity is good publicity, especially for all the kids watching Sesame Street, because you could learn a lot from there and learn about Taylor Swift, apparently.
I can hear him saying that.
Just saying it right there. I'll have to look it up right now because I wasn't aware of this whole thing. Well, we learn something new every day here on Fox Chicago and Silicon. After weeks of below freezing temperatures, could this warm up feel like summer? I don't know about that. meteorologist Mark Stroll shows you when we can expect 40s. That's coming up after the break.
Did you hear that today? That was the sound of thawing out. We're still thawing out. Right now, cloudy skies, 34 degrees. Winds out of the north-northeast to 21, though. Does make it feel a little bit cooler. 22 is the wind chill this hour. We've had some showers, snow showers, spin down Lake Michigan. Nothing really here in the city, but on the other side of the lake, there's been some lake effect snow. We're going to keep it that way as we clear out overnight tonight. It should be a rather pleasant evening, although temperatures are going to be crisp again. Overnight low temperatures in the suburbs into single digits. I think we do about 10 degrees downtown. Far away to fall from 34 degrees right now, southwest side, Lakeshore. 32 degrees right now at O'Hare and 37 coming in at DeKalb. Winds, well, they're keeping the wind chill chilly. 20 right now feels like temperature at O'Hare. Feels like 23 along the lakefront. The next couple of days, I told you there's a warm-up coming our way. In fact, 40s coming our way. But not before we get through that 10-degree overnight low temperature tonight, and not before we get through a below-average day tomorrow at 23. Below-average temperature, but the sunshine's going to feel good tomorrow. 32 degrees on Sunday, 42 on Monday, 40s again on Tuesday. Futurecast shows not much in terms of precip. We clear out here. Yeah, a couple of lake effect snow showers, perhaps over in LaPorte County and also into Berrien County, Michigan. So we'll keep an eye out for that for our neighbors there as we head into Saturday night. A little disturbance just up to our north. Tiny risk of something happening here, tiny risk. Tiny risk. Other than that, we're back into some cloud cover on Sunday as temperatures warm from the 20s on Saturday to the 30s on Super Bowl Sunday, and then eventually into the 40s. Yeah, tonight, cold. We're down to 10 degrees, again, single digits in the north and northwest suburbs. Sunshine in the morning. Partly cloudy skies during the afternoon. 23, the daytime high temperature tomorrow. Again, that's pretty far below average. A lot closer to average on Sunday, temperatures of 32. Then look at this. Partly sunny skies on Monday, 42, 45 degrees on Tuesday. We head back into the 30s for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but the mid and upper 30s, that's going to feel pretty good. And then we're back into the 40s as we head back into the 10-day forecast. In fact, looking way down the road, 10 days out, I see some 50s. We'll tell you more about that coming up. Stick around.
Stream Fox.